The hooliganism that took place in the festive season, where we saw gangs led by musicians, this is an investment of this government. Allien Skin is an employee of the NRM government and other cohorts. So if you see Allien Skin and Palaso's saga, this is an investment of government. I know it happened in Enkuuka, where Allien Skin, mobilized his gang to even beat the people. But police just looked on. The guy had to move on to attend to other events. If the duty of police is to protect and detect crime, why didn't they arrest Allien Skin at that very time? So if police and the NRM government is investing in crime, obviously this will happen. But as leaders, we condemn this. We cannot support this kind of hooliganism, because at the end of the day, people are losing property. You saw what happened. I saw some border people who were beaten in Machinde by the Allien Skin's gang. So we cannot allow this. This is purely impunity, and the NRM government should be put to task to come out to explain who is Allien Skin to the NRM government, and why is it investing a lot of money in Allien Skin to disorganize society.
And to the Minister of Internal Affairs and Security?
No, definitely to the Minister of Internal Affairs. We've given them money. During the festive season, they were given an additional budget to ensure that Ugandans and their property are protected. So they should come out and do their work. They should not selectively apply the law. When it comes to the issue of law and order, police should do its work.
Musicians, they fight. The gangs in Kampala, the gangs across the cities of Uganda and the municipalities. What is the plan? Who is organizing these gangs? The gang seems to be organized. For example, when you hear the Allien Skin and what they fought, they are fighting, it is taking coverage of social media. What is the Minister of Security talking about? Because such things can begin in a small section, but can magnify. The youth can join. Many people internally can actually take it as a thing for easy engagement, fighting it. So we don't want Uganda to turn into a street fight. Into a street fight. That will be into a gang grouping country, which is terrible. So I expect the Minister of Defense to give us a very outright, authentic information on the security that pertains the young people, the youth in this area, in various areas, the cities of Uganda. So basically, those are my areas of concern. One, we need to fight poverty. And then two, we need to align the national development funds.
What is important is for government to strengthen security, and particularly for those people who have some of these gatherings, they need to first seek permission, secure enough security. But also, it also goes back to us as Ugandans, the people who come to join some of these gatherings. It's not good for people to think that they can solve problems by themselves. They should not take the law in their hands. It is very important that people look at the different government offices. Government has enough offices where you can report anything to your dissatisfaction. If you think you are not satisfied with something, you can report to any office of government. But also, as individuals, I think it is very important for us to know that security begins with us. We should not just expect that security agencies will give us enough security. It begins with us. They can only add on our efforts. So it is very important that Ugandans look at security as a key element, but also note that security starts with them.
This whole situation in our country is ushered in by the police itself and probably the Minister of Internal Affairs. In any country, you expect the police to keep law and order. And when there is no law and order, lawlessness takes over. And that's where you see gangster life coming up and cropping up, because they can see the police is doing nothing to curb it. Over and over again, we have seen elements of gangster life, people destroying property, killing each other, and police has kept quiet. We expect them to keep quiet all the time because there's nothing they can do. They started this whole situation of fueling these criminal activities. Because when they see crime taking place, gangster life taking place and they do nothing. For example, elements of gangster life and activities happened at the offices of the National Unity Platform. Everyone saw it. It was on camera. Police never issued a statement, not even arresting people that could be seen in videos, video clips. Now, that shows you that maybe the Minister of Internal Affairs and the police were behind this criminal activity. So when other criminal gangs see that police is not doing nothing to other criminals who are doing these things, they are fueled, and that's why these things are happening in our country. It is the primary role of the police and the Minister of Internal Affairs to keep law and order. When that doesn't happen, lawlessness will happen in our country to the extent when government can no longer control it.
Do you have hope that when they happen? Yeah.
Of course, when Parliament resumes, we want to hear from the Minister. We want him to explicate what is going on. Why is the police keeping quiet? Why was police quiet when gangsters attacked the office of the National Unity Platform? Why was the police quiet when they attack musicians at shows and nothing happens? We want to hear from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Why are these criminal activities happening in our country and they are silent?
The musicians or the gangs that support this cuts across. Sometimes it may be in the music industry or even us politicians. To me, I feel it requires the bosses or the principals to talk to their followers. Especially in the music industry, you find that people who play music have got a following, and they get people who are close to them. But when they clash, like what happened of recent, this affects their source of income, because many of them depend on the music. But if they continue doing so, it will scare away the supporters, people who go and pay their money to watch the music. They will be scared because they will feel in such a situation you can go to attend a show and they end up fighting on stage and you can end up by being affected. So I want to call upon the people in the music industry to talk to their fans, and also us politicians to talk to our followers, because sometimes it's the same thing that happens on the followers of the politicians. Now that we are going into the election period, you'll find that people are mobilizing young people to support them. Sometimes they do stage-managed activities, and they scare away the would-be supporters of a particular candidate. So in the long run, it will make people make losses, especially if you have been attacked, like the most recent scenario where the musicians attacked each other. You find that people's properties were destroyed, vehicles were burnt down, and so many other assets were destroyed. So in the long run, this will affect the economy of the country. It also affects the individual source of income. So it's incumbent upon the musicians and also the politicians to talk to their followers to ensure that they don't encounter such, or they don't support such activities that can easily affect their candidature, or they can affect their music industry. It's cross-cutting, and now that we are going into the election period, I would also call upon the security agencies to come up and support and issue guidelines that these musicians are supposed to follow. And if there are no laws, enough laws especially, that guide the music industry in Uganda, then us leaders or us members of parliament, we should come up with such laws so that we give guidelines that these people should follow to avoid such scenarios in the future.
This is not the first time where we are seeing such groupings and groups. We've ever witnessed one group by Brian White. We've ever witnessed a group by Chitata. We've ever witnessed groups by Sobi. All these groups that are created by the state to create impressions and to divert the population from certain way of belief. Because government has a belief that the reasons why young people follow Bobby Wine wherever he goes, they have a feeling that they follow him because he's an artist. So they are trying to create another perception that is, these youth don't follow only Bobby Wine. They can follow anyone. as long as he's an artist. So government is creating, the regime is creating, let me not say government, the regime is creating those cliques. And those cliques are untouchable. Even police knows that this one, the state is behind it. That's why some of them, you'll see the police do nothing, because they've been briefed that this group of Allien Skin is supported by the regime. This group of so-and-so is supported by so-and-so. Now, the police remains thinking that as long as the state is aware about this. Now, the state, the regime, has failed to appreciate that the young people that follow Bobby Wine, yes, they followed him as a musician, but today, they are those that have created political awareness. They are those that have known what they would wish their country to be like. They are those that know that even in governance, we can also participate. Now, they look at Bobby Wine every time he comes up to speak about the critical issues that concern them, especially as far as joblessness is concerned, as far as poverty is concerned, as far as corruption in the country is concerned. Those that get politically aware, they follow him religiously, thinking that he is the hope. Now, the regime is trying to change and say that is not the truth. The truth, they are following him because he's a musician. You see, there is another musician they can follow. And those perceptions are being created still to divert the young people from the true cause of fighting for this nation, to ensure that this nation deserves good leadership or gets good leadership.
So you are saying you're offering a solution?
I'm just wanting to tell the young people that this country belongs to them. And every time they accept to be used to make those perceptions, they are the more they divert the public from following the true values, the true beliefs. Because you can ask yourself, why are they following this one? They will have no reason, but anyway they are following because this person is untouchable. They will do all the madness because they think this person is untouchable. And for me, I really want to think that the police of Uganda, we've seen you before, and you've done nothing. But the more you create gangs, a time can come when you've created a way of life, and people will live that way. And once you create a way of life in society like that, it becomes dangerous to the nation.